welcome to a very casual episode of Bud's Brunch. We're doing our Season 2 premiere here up in the beautiful Halliburton Highlands, and classic pancakes up at the cottage like we did when we were kids growing up.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to start with the bacon, and we're also going to address the elephant in the room right away, and that elephant's name is...
Mitch Marner.
Exactly. Okay, so should we set everyone's minds at ease right now, Dad, or should people be worried?
I don't think people should be worried. I think, based on everything we're hearing, Mitch Marner wants to be in Toronto. I think he likes playing in Toronto, likes being close to his family and his friends. So we'll wait and see. And in the meantime, Marner does have to train.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe they figured that it would be low risk if he went to Europe to train.
Well, he's got to do something. Like, they're going to sign him. Like, we all know that they can't not sign him. They can't leave the points that he produces on the table, right?
That's right. You know, you don't want to get in a situation like with Nylander when he was out for so long and came back and had no impact.
So your prediction basically is that day one of the season, they strike a deal with Marner because they, have $17 million in open cap space once that happens?
Something like that, around $17 million, and I think it's conceivable that very close to that time frame. Because if you wait past that date, as the clock ticks past that date, there's more of a cap hit. Marner's becomes more of a cap hit. So we'll have to wait and see. And so, looking forward, in the off season, quite a few things have happened, right? We now have Tyson Barrie.
Tyson Barrie. I'm really excited to have him. He played for the Kelowna Rockets when I worked out there for that team. So I've seen a lot of him in the past, like when he was just a youngster, obviously coming and growing up. But Jake Muzzin expressed that he's very happy to have him as well.
Right. Yeah.
Another puck-moving defenseman.
Yeah, as usual, we don't get a chance to see these players in the different time zone. We just don't get a chance to see them. But again, with Muzzin playing in the Western Conference, he got to see him quite a bit. And we'll just have to take his word for it that he's a pretty good player. Based on some of the film clips I've seen, and then you look at some of his stats, he's pretty well everything we need with the style that the Leafs play.
Yeah.
Puck moving, move the puck fast. I guess the only negative is we're still looking for some grit in the back end. I know there's a lot of Jake Gardiner fans out there that want to see him come back, but here's a couple of flags with Jake Gardiner. He wasn't a physical defenseman to begin with. And now he has a wonky back.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's proven. And normally, as you get older, it typically doesn't get better. So
would know, Dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I still play, and I still hurt after I play, even though we don't even play body contact. But good point. And I'm not a really big guy, so physical doesn't really work for me, even though I'm a defenseman. Yes, he moves the puck, and then of course, the issues, the stretch pass where the pass gets missed, and they tend to use that a lot. I'm not a big fan of that. To use Boston as a classic example, over the boards comes Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak, and now you're in huge trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
With a tired team on the ice. And some of the things that sticks in my head when I think about Jake and the way he played. And then again, we have Sandin and Littlegren and a few of the others that are,
they're pretty much ready, I think.
Yeah.
I went to several Marlies games last season as well. And there were some injuries, obviously, on the back end there. But watching Littlegren even playing on the power play, and he holds the line very well by himself as well. So with the addition of Tyson Barrie and those two kids pretty much being ready to come up from the Marlies.
That's right. And there's going to be a lot of competition in camp. They created something. They have Harper as well that they got in the Ottawa deal. Right? They got CC and a few others. So, Dermott's not going to start the season because he's recovering from surgery.
Yep.
And and really what you want as a coach and a GM is you want competition for positions.
Yeah.
Right, and then it dials it up a little bit before the season starts, and it can get edgy on the ice when somebody's fighting for a job, and then you'll get a chance to see that too. You'll get a chance to see who's going to stand up for themselves and say, hey, listen, I want to play, and you're not taking my spot.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the other point was Kadri's gone.
Okay. Yes, of course. Yeah.
We have Alex Kerfoot that came in the trade with Colorado too. So everyone's talking, as if there wasn't a big deal. I'm going to tell you something. It was a huge deal. Here's a guy that hurt the team 2 years in a row in a tight series with one goal either way. A player like that can make a difference.
Because he couldn't control his emotions both times.
Right. That's right. And then of course, if you look at a guy like Babcock, who's a very competitive guy. Like any coach, I've coached too. I coach, select hockey, minor hockey. You want players that are coachable.
Yeah, of course.
This guy isn't coachable. Okay, so it's time to move on. He's hurt the team 2 years in a row. Who says he's not going to do it again? He could do it again.
Yep.
And from what I hear about Kerfoot, seems to be a pretty decent player. Everyone's saying nice things about him, and everyone's positive.
That's
of course,
positive.
It's always positive.
Nice things
it's always pump his tires, but we will see if he's an effective player, and hopefully he is. Lots of unknowns and lots of drama as well, going into the end of.
That's kind of what makes it exciting.
End of the preseason. That's right.
For
so
sure.
we'll run into things to talk about. I mean, going into the season with the next Bud's Brunch.
Yeah, for sure. Dad, we left our beer.
Oh
there.
yes, yeah.
Would you mind grabbing our beer for us here while I keep an eye on this bacon
I'm
that's
doing
almost
that.
done?
Show people that we have to protect ourselves from Yogi Bear.
I know. So you might be wondering why this is here. And there has been a bear walking around our neighborhood, around our lake here behind us. So
broke into a cottage last week.
Week. We had one last year, or a couple years ago, that broke into our neighbor's cottage and got chased away by their dog.
Middle of the day with everybody there.
Exactly, but specifically where we're standing right now, that's the only exit and entrance. So if a bear comes down this way, we're trapped. I mean, how many feet is it down here, Dad?
You're looking at about 40 feet.
Yeah, so we're in the treetops in the Halliburton Highlands.
We likely won't survive. So.
Yeah, and here's a fun fact. I mean, he's not just a pretty face that knows his hockey. He built this cottage that we're standing on right now. So it's absolutely stunning A-frame. Facing, I mean, the view was the most important thing. So well done, Dad.
Yeah,
good job.
Other than I forgot about the emergency exit for the bear.
Yeah, well, we're working on that.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
That's right.
And we're working on these. Here, no, I thought you said you wanted the IPA.
Okay, I'll trade.
You want it?
Sure.
All right, so we're doing Muskoka because we're up north here. Trade it up. I'm doing the Muskoka Brewery Cream Ale, one of my favorites, and Dad's got the Detour IPA. So, cheers. Delicious. You can see I'm wearing a Bosch Kung Brewing shirt, of course, which is a brewery just not too far from here, maybe 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Just in Carnarvon. There's also one in Minden as well, but I drank all of my Bosch Kung beer already this weekend, so that's why we're going with Muskoka, but we'll still represent.
That's right.
All right, so some of this bacon is just about done, Dad. Do you want to start mixing up your pancake batter? So we talked a little bit about Babcock and how he needs coachable players, but I mean, are the players that are on the ice right now that he has the right team for his style of coaching?
I think so, and again, I don't think you're going to Babcock is about to change his coaching style.
No, of course not.
And he comes across really as kind of an old school coach, something like Pat Quinn, maybe Burnsy. Maybe like a Punch Umlack, back in the day.
He was popular.
Yeah, back when they were the coach. With the players. Ask Frank Mahovlich.
Yeah, exactly.
But, back in the day, Punch Umlack was coach and general manager, so was Pat Quinn.
Yeah.
So, you talk about autocratic style, they want to control of everything.
Yeah,
so
that's
kind of Babcock style, which is a bit odd considering Shanahan and Dubas don't come across
They
that way.
really don't. They seem to more like to orchestrate things like a well-oiled machine.
It's more of an inclusive management style. And today, it's complicated. Everyone talks about, the millennials, the younger players that are coming in. They're a different breed, a little bit more difficult to coach. And again, the other thing, too, is coaching can be a competitive advantage for you.
Yeah, well, you were a coach, you would know.
Yeah, it does make a difference, particularly when there's so many, the players that are coming in are so young. I mean, they're coaching teenagers,
of course,
right?
Yeah. So, give me an example of what you mean.
Well, an example of what I mean is we can think about all the meltdowns that even the Team Canada's had in the World Juniors.
Yeah.
I remember the one where Cameron was coaching and they had a 3-goal lead going into the third period in Buffalo, and the wheels fell off. And how often that's happened a few times. I mean, they get a little bit over-emotional. They haven't had a lot of experience. They're not in full control of their emotions because they're really just kids.
Yeah.
Right? So now these kids take one, especially if they're talented, they end up in the NHL. So they're a different breed. They're not as emotionally developed as somebody that's 25 years old that's been through the trenches. So I think you do need help. In the old days, those players would go into the minors and stay there a long time, and you wouldn't even see them until 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
That's not happening today. So, which brings me to a team that I think that has gotten that right.
All right.
And I'm going to call them a dark horse
Okay.
for the season, and that's the Montreal Canadiens.
Dad,
And I know I can't.
you hate the Montreal
Can't believe I'm saying
Canadiens.
this. Old school Leaf. I still remember Shaq and Ferguson back in the day, and the Leafs glory days. But I'm also objective, and I also believe that Bergevin's done something really brilliant with the Habs. First off, you have Julian. Based on what I see from my experience in corporate management, he comes across as somebody that's in full control of his ego, right? And then you take a coach like that, which is the right profile, and surround him with excellent coaches. Okay. So Dominic Ducharme, silver medal, gold medal with the World Juniors, as an example. They have Kurt Muller, who's arguably one of the best bench coaches in the NHL. When you watch the bench, you see the players, the way they react to him.
When they show the Habs bench during games, it's Kirk Muller.
Yep. Leaf side, it's always Babcock that has the clipboard. So
you never see the assistant coaches.
that's right.
Very rarely.
Yeah. So and then the other thing too is they have Luke Richardson, and Richardson is considered one of the best defensive coaches in hockey today. So they have a lot of young players. They got a.
So would you say you're scared of the Habs?
I'm telling you right now, look out for the Habs.
Well, they were 4 points out of the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they only missed the playoffs by, you have to say 4 points. They were in the hunt right to the end. And like I say, the Leafs were a 5-game losing streak that are missing the playoffs. And hey, they're in the Leafs division, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're in division. So be careful, but I'm calling them a dark horse, and don't write that team off. And I'm not even saying just squeaking into the playoffs. I'm saying that team could get into the playoffs and make some noise, just from all the things that I just talked about. I'm impressed with what he's done.
Yeah,
and
not to mention Weber and Carey Price as well, right?
Right, yeah, of course they got, they got maybe the best captain in hockey, one of the best captains in hockey. He's a
Team
real
Canada?
calming effect. Team Canada, he played for Team Canada, won gold medal. And of course they got Carey Price. I don't think the guy's, he's just complete ice water.
He is ice water. Well, he's proven that time and time again.
Right, and he has a significant leadership component. It brings a significant leadership component to the dressing room. Tremendous amount of respect. And again, a guy that doesn't talk much, but when he talks, it's like E.F. Hutton. The old, used to be a commercial called when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Well,
Carey Price.
They listen to Carey Price, and of course Weber's the same way. He's a low key, but again, the whole room goes quiet when he has something to say. So again, they have components. They might be missing maybe a few stud stars, but in the end of the day, they're going to get the most out of their team. And people like Weber and Price to keep the some of the misbehaviors in check.
Yep.
Now I know Gallagher gets a little carried away once in a while. We know Domi's got a bit of his dad in him, and
yeah, for sure.
This is a little bit. But again, you got enough people behind the bench to keep that in check. So.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't want to admit that I want the Habs to do well, Dad, I never want you to be wrong.
As you know, I have a lot of friends that are Hab fans, and they're going to be watching this. And I did promise them there would be a Montreal Canadian component to this.
Okay.
So I didn't let them down.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I think so. They need to have it
Oh,
recorded
yeah.
to believe that you would give the Montreal Canadiens a compliment.
They'd have to go back and watch it a few times and rub their eyes and say, who are you? What have you done with Greg Osterhand?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Ready to pour that on there?
Yeah.
I cooled this down a little bit for you from the bacon.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do the pancakes.
Yep.
Organic rye Fife whole grain pancake mix. Grown in Canada and made in Halliburton.
There you go, at Abbey Gardens, just down the road.
We're going local here.
We're going local.
Yeah.
So speaking of locals, we do have a couple of local NHLers up here in West Guilford and Halliburton area, as a matter of fact. Actually, Matt Duchesne has got a place just on the lake behind you here, on our lake.
Bernie Nichols is from West Guilford. Some people might remember him. And Walt McKechnie had a bar up here for years. It's still there, called McKechnie. He no longer owns it. People still want to get selfies with Walt. Played for a lot of teams. So there's quite a few players up here. Cody Hodgson's from up here too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
he's
about
a
him.
Halliburton guy.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
To go really back into the archives, Ron Stackhouse.
Oh my gosh!
And then Glenn Sharpley, going back back, and he has a sporting goods store in Halliburton. So there's quite a bit of NHL flavor up here.
Yeah.
For locals.
Why wouldn't you? Look at the beauty.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Why
wouldn't you want this?
See
to
why
be
they
your
want to
summer
come
home?
here, right?
Yep.
There, so we're going to put some blueberries on here.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So not just Marner, but Matthews has also been a little bit in the news lately with his comments about potentially getting the captaincy for the Leafs.
Yeah, that's come up in the last couple of weeks because the Leafs really should have a captain going into the season. It's a bit of a dicey situation because Matthews is still very young. And then you've got, that's proven himself as a leader in John Tavares.
You're right. John Tavares he seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah, he's 1 year in. If he was 2 years in, it might be an easier decision to make. But in the end of the day, you know what, if they do go with Matthews just because they see, his runway, that, we have a sense he's going to develop into a leader like that. He's a really good role model in the room with Tavares, and Tavares can still play well.
Ooh, Dad, that's perfect.
Geez, usually the first couple don't turn out that well, but that one looks really good. Yeah, so the other thing we talked about last year, too, was defense pairings. Remember we talked about the Hunter-Farmer?
Hunter-Farmer.
So now you've got another Hunter in Tyson Barrie. And, of course, the obvious farmer is Jake Muzzin because he's from Woodstock. He might have grew up in a farm. He looks like
he looks like he might have thrown a bale of hay around or two.
Guy. Yeah, that's right. So looking for some grit on the back end. Again, back to the Hunter-Farmer. You want a gritty farmer type going around, making it uncomfortable for people. People like Mr. Marchand that likes to cause trouble. Back to Brendan Gallagher again. We don't want to make it easy. The little guy likes to run the goalie.
Yeah.
And this is another problem. You got to protect your goaltender, right? I know there's a lot of armchair coaches. I am one of them. Sit on the couch and coach the Leafs.
But you could.
Anybody that I'm
not saying coach the Leafs,
but just coach. Period.
You should. You're retired.
So game 6 when the Leafs really had them on the ropes. That's the game they had to win.
That's the one they should have won.
Right. So we have a winger with a torn ACL going out to face off against the best face-off man in hockey.
Yeah.
Tavares is sitting on the bench watching.
Why? That's what I don't understand.
Johnny Tavares again, and he was a penalty killer on the Islanders.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Shaking my head, and then back to the autocratic style of Babcock. Is anybody on the bench questioning what he's doing?
Yeah.
And then the other.
But they can't. If it, like you said, if it were the Habs, Kirk Muller would have put his hand up and said, "Absolutely not happening."
Excuse me, Coach. When you have a leadership team, whether it's a business or whether it's a sports team, surrounding an autocratic leader with really good people, it's kind of a waste of money.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have any input.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just going to be, no, I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm the smartest person on the bench. Yeah, thanks for your advice, but we're going to do it my way. As I told you, I coached minor hockey. I did coach some house league, but I coached some select teams too. I coached Pee Wee and Band. Thing is, you roll the bench, right?
Of course, because they're kids.
Mr. Babcock's rolling the bench in Game 7. He's rolling the bench like a Pee Wee House League team.
Or is he afraid to hurt someone's feelings? What's going on there? I don't understand why he would do that.
The multimillionaire, so what if we hurt your feelings?
Exactly.
I think they'd understand. Just another example of...
They'll still get a ring if they win.
Yeah. Who knows whether there was any discussion about that after with Shanahan. I don't know how...
I can't imagine there wouldn't have been.
Yeah, anyway.
And Dubas, too. Like, he's not in that role as a 32-year-old, 33-year-old?
Right.
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, if the armchair, hockey coaches are questioning it, you have to believe that the people in the organization are questioning it
too.
Of
course, yeah. So this is our final pancake, it looks like here, Dad, and it looks great.
We're ready. It's done. Ready to go.
Beautiful. Looks good. All right. Shut this bad boy off.
Okay, we're all ready.
It's already off. All right, Dad. Well, good job on the pancakes. You got the bacon over there. Let's plate her up.
Let's dig in. Okay. The fresh air up here really gives you an appetite.
Oh, for sure. And it makes me extremely tired after falling asleep at 9 o'clock last night. Poor Mom. Sorry I didn't watch the Blue Jays game with you.
Yeah, we couldn't find a restaurant with a view like this, so we decided to eat here.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, the only disclaimer that you have for eating at this wonderful venue is that you need to have a bear horn with you at all times. Pure maple syrup from Minden, Ontario.
Yeah.
We're going all local here.
Plugging the locals.
Yep. Okay, Dad. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks again for joining us for Season 2, Episode 1, our season premiere of Bud's Brunch. We'll see you again for the rest of the season once it kicks off in just a few weeks.
Can't wait.
Thanks again. See you soon.
Bye.